welcome to the very first episode of Just Speak Enough. I'm Justin, and before I continue on into this entire podcast of the supernatural, right, I just want to state that in no way that I am a bomo, I am not a ghost hunter, I am just your average, everyday Joe who has seen more, felt more than potentially what I wanted to lah, right? So today I really want to go back from the beginning. I think when I was younger there were a lot of times where you would hear stories from your elders. My cousins who are much older than I am have mentioned stories about hauntings, hearing about these kind of things, or reading that if you know that book that's very famous for ghost stories, right? Those are the kind of things that gave me fear. I was terrified of anything that's supernatural. Up till today, I do not watch any horror films that include ghosts, spirits, or anything I can't see. So, Poltergeist, Exorcism of Emily Rose, the Autopsy of Jane Doe, these are the kind of things that literally scare the shit out of me, and I will never watch. Okay? But I just want to tell my experience in episode 1, what I've gone through, in hopes that you may find it entertaining. So the first ever incident that happened to me was when I was staying in my parents' place. This was when I was in my teens. So I'm thinking, right, it's probably when I was like 17, 18 years old, and I was downstairs watching TV. This was almost 3 o'clock in the morning. The couch is here, TV is in front of me, and it's a brick wall that separates the living room from the toilet and the storeroom. Yeah. So I just remember watching TV, and during that point, I just saw a shadow run across from the room, the storeroom area, like shh. Bro, seriously, it's not like it was prancing about, it was like freaking Usain Bolt kind of speed. So it was not at that point, because of that kind of speed, I thought it was just me being tired or my mind playing tricks on me. And then I was like, okay fine, you know what, let's just forget it. So in my house there is a grandfather clock that my parents have hung on the wall in the stairwell. And because it's in the stairwell, when it chimes, it's those dong, dong, yeah, that kind of sound. And while it's there in the stairwell, it's very loud, it echoes. Okay? So I remember when I was watching after the first incident, I just kind of ignored it. At exactly the stroke of 3, that shadow just went past me again. It went back into the room. Toilet. I don't know, maybe it wanted to take a piss. But it just moved so quickly, and with equal amount of speed, I switched off the TV, I muttered a little prayer, and I went upstairs. Switched off the light and went upstairs. And of course, as I'm walking up the stairs, the light is off. I'm hoping to myself, like, I hope this thing's not standing right behind me. So yeah, I don't know if you guys can see, but I'm getting freaking goosebumps on the shit, right? So that was the first ever experience that was very vivid to me, and that is something that I will never forget, because I was a few months later, thinking about it, I just forgot about it. Then a few months later, I was told that there was something in the house, casually asked, and I was told that maybe you shouldn't stay downstairs after a certain time. Right. Safe to say, anytime after 1 o'clock I was in my room. So that was the first incident that ever occurred to me, rather happened to me. The second incident was about 5 years ago. We went out for a trip. My daughter was about 8 months old. So we went down to Port Dickson. I don't know if you know, but there have been some rumors about hotels in Port Dickson having ghosts. I read the reviews, seen it. Okay. At that point, I was scared, right? But the hotel that we went to was a relatively new hotel. I'm not going to say which hotel, but it was a new hotel. There's my family, myself, my wife, and my kid, and my wife's 3 friends. So we were all in my room. My kid had gone to sleep, and we were playing that imposter game. I can't remember what's it called. The one with the green, yellow, purple guys with the space suits. I can't remember what they're called. God. So we were playing, having fun. We were laughing as quietly as we could, of course. And then we realized, like, hey, it's already 1 something in the morning. I think it's time for us to go to sleep. So off everybody went. My wife went to get ready for bed. Then it was my turn. It's a king size bed. So my kid was sleeping right in the middle of the king size bed. So if you're facing the bed, I slept on the left hand side, which is closer to the window. Wife slept on the right hand side, which is closer to the door. So it's literally closer to the wall that's adjoining to the toilet. Put my hand on the bed, and my back's facing my wife and kid. I do that because I snore, right? So I try not to snore into their faces when we ever go for holidays. So I'm always facing away. There's a different context. As I'm trying to fall asleep, from above my kid, literally my kid's behind me, from above my kid, I hear this low guttural grunt. I can't imitate the sound, but if it was anything, I would say it kind of sounds like when a bull is ready to charge. It's like a See, that does not do justification to the sound, right? So I heard that. Me being a coward, I was prepared to just cover my eyes and just go to sleep. But I told myself that if there's anything that's going to be disturbing my kid, I am literally going to cuss it out of my room. Right? So I prepared myself, built up the courage, whatever courage I had, and I turned, and nothing was there. Oops. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Right? So I said a little prayer. I only become extremely religious when it's things to do with the supernatural. Either than that, I'm probably one of the least religious people that I know. And so yeah, going back to sleep. Now I'm facing my kid because I'm watching my kid and my wife sleep. And just for the record, no way in the world that sound came from my wife. Okay, 100%. It was too deep for any human voices in the room, right? Okay, so now I'm facing my kid and my back is to the window. And then, in the corner of my room, mind you, I was on the 2nd or 3rd floor, can't really remember. my room is facing the ocean. It's a wall with no ventilation points. The ventilation points are at the front where the aircon is. Okay. The only thing that was there was a plug point. I remember that very clearly. And in that corner, I heard a child's anklet. Like it was running around. Oh man. The goosebumps on this one is quite bad. So in my head, I'm thinking to myself, like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do now? So I sat up, I said a little prayer, I said, please, 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 get out, leave me and my family alone, because we just want to rest and we want to go home after a holiday. We just want to get out of the house. So please don't disturb us while we sleep. Safe to say, wife and daughter had a good nap throughout the night. I only slept when the sun peeked through the window, and that was about 6:45, almost 7 in the morning. I napped for maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours, and I drove home from Port Dickson after that. So yeah, I mean, that was the incidents that really happened to me while I was there, right? So Malaysia really, it's a lot of stories that you hear, and this podcast is not really about a cousin's cousin who's talking about these things. These are the kind of things that have actually happened to me right now. And as I move forward, I'll be telling you a little bit more about the stories that have happened to me. This is just two. I have many incidences that have happened to me which I cannot explain. So, I started this podcast not to scare people, not to terrorize people. It's not to show that I know everything. I guess it's just to share what I have been through, and in hopes that you may find some form of entertainment value in this, or you may have some similar experiences to me, right? So that's episode 1. The next episode, we're going to go outdoors. Okay, not literally outdoors where I film outdoors, but I'm going to tell you about experiences I've gone through in the most ordinary of places that you may have never thought of. Okay, so thank you very much for listening. I hope you do not have any unexpected visitors tonight or any in the future, but if you do, perhaps have a conversation with them and maybe I can interview you for my next episode. Thank you very much, guys. Cheers.